Okay, Asia session live, trading futures now, currently looking at NAS. NAS breaking out on the H4, on the H1, we're making all-time highs now, and basically I'm just waiting for price to pull back, fake out a low, and then take this up. So Tokyo Open in 15 minutes, that's what I'll be looking for. Pull back to continue this move. Okay, 30 seconds till Tokyo Open. Looks like we're breaking out, pulling back here. On the H1, want to see a trend retracement, fake out a low, take this up. We are at all-time highs. Usually I don't like to continue pushing up. I would usually see a little push down. So I definitely want to see a proper trend retracement setup here. Momentum time frame right there. So trend retracement setup. Bullish one, we have bullish momentum. And I want to see price pull back to breakout levels, fake out momentum time frame, take the trade back up. Breakout levels right here. Momentum time frame right there. And then I'll look for the move up. We're currently in a trend phase. We had a bullish reversal phase after a breakout failure. So we had the breakout right here, bearish breakout. That's a breakout level. Price flipped it. We're above that initial range. So these are always the best reversals when you slice through that entire range and then price pulls back, fakes out, and then takes us up. So hopefully it sets up. All right, triggering the momentum time frame now. Let's see if we can reverse. Okay, 50-minute bar was an inside bar. So I can see the range right over here. Would prefer price to come down and trigger that. That would be safer. Since we're at all-time highs, I think it would be better to get those ranges triggered, because there's always a possibility that this can sell off instead. So just have to be a bit cautious about this move. All right, so price gave that trend retracement setup, but I did want to see it pull back a bit more. Now we're at the edge of the range here. It's created on the M15. I would prefer, we have a lot of bullish pressure, but I would prefer price to pull back a bit at this point. So I'm going to be taking a counter trend if it gives me the setup over here. I want to see a fake out of the M15 high to take this down. But eventually I do want to see this continue pushing up. We still have lots of bullish pressure here. But it should pull back a bit before pushing back up. See the 2 minutes. So I was essentially looking for a trend retracement on the M2 all the way down here, but didn't do that. So I'm looking for a reversal up at the top here first before continuing. Again, we're at all-time highs. Usually at all-time highs, you would see pushback first. 30,000 right up here. So could get up to this level before trying to pull back. Let's see. All right, new M15 closed, took out the range. And so if it's going to reverse, it has to do it around here. Would like it to pull back a bit before continuing back up. All right, still no sign of any pullback. And we're getting close to the new H1. We're faking out the M15 high, close to that 30K level. I don't trade round numbers, but this is something that you can't really ignore. So That's going to be the target. Um, think if I can get a reversal, I would take that because I do think that this should be pulling back to fake out the low before getting back above. And so probably in the next 1 hour bar, I'll be looking for a small scalp down before taking this back up. All right, H1 bar has just closed, not giving me any pullbacks up here. I would rather this come down, fake out a low to continue that up. If it does come up, then I would take that pullback, but the range is really small here. So I think it's better to just wait for the proper setup. A little bit annoying that I didn't go for that one. Thought it would be safer for it to come down a bit since we were at, I think this was all-time highs as well, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so this move was an all-time high move. Usually I would prefer stronger structure before going for that continuation, but in this case it just went. Now I'm looking for pullback to continue that move back up. All right, just had my breakfast, and so now I see an H4 bar closure. Prices come down to the edge of this range. So this is going to be a range trade. Yep, so I'm just going to take this right back up to the top side of that range. Just a small scalp here. Target up there, but most likely we'll end it here. Okay, waiting for an entry. All right, M3 bar has closed. Looking for a continuation. All right, in on this move, and let's see if it wants to get up. Okay, nice little pop up here. Gonna see if it triggers the H4 high, but I am just gonna keep my sell limit right at that 30K point just in case it wants to shoot up again. But the plan is to end the trade once it triggers that H4 high. All right, triggering the high. Let's see if it's gonna pop up. Okay, 1 more minute until the next hour. I'm gonna cut it here. All right, happy with that. Gonna see if this is gonna pop up, but I would expect a move to that 30K. But anything can happen here, so I'm happy with that. All right, so 1.8, and all right, let's just see what happens here at the open. Is it going to go to that 30K? This is a 5-hour trade. If I held it, let's see what happens at that 30K point. Well, anything could have happened, and so I'm happy that I just took my profit and that was it. But I am kind of guessing that at 30K, this thing is just gonna sell off. I think at this point I would have exited if I decided to hold it, because I would be a bit wary of price touching that and then reversing. these are more psychological levels. It's not really something that I factor into my trading, but like levels like this, you can't really ignore. 30K. All right. Anyways, for sure, if I had decided to hold it, this would be the exit. And all right, let's see what happens here. But done with the trade. Not going to look for anything else unless until I see what happens here. All right. So price did not get there, but it is giving me another setup here. H1 trend retracement. We're at the edge of a range here, and so this is a place where I would look for a buy as well to the high of the M15. This is a trend breakout. So this one is a trend reversal move, trend retracement move, and then breaking out of the high. This one is a trend breakout. So on the H1, this is a trend continuation, breakout followed by bearish fake out. Faked out the low, take it up. And this one is a trend breakout. We broke out of the H1 high, fake out the low, taking this up. And ranges here, M3 is bearish. The trend reversal bar here. So I am bullish. I do want to see what price does at 30K. I would pretty sure something interesting will happen there. These are all psychological levels. Again, it's not something that I factor into my trading, but it's just human behavior with round numbers. Okay, waiting for a setup here. Have everything I want for a trend breakout, fake out the low. I want to take this up. I can see that we're also at edge of range. So some nice confluence here. All right, so just waiting for an entry. Okay, 1 minute bar closing. Okay, got a closure that I want. That's a trend reversal bar. If price breaks the peak, I'm going to look for a move back to the top there. Got a buy stop in. Let's see if this triggers. Okay, got triggered in here. Just going to push this up to the 30K. Let's see if it gives me a pop up. But again, I want to see a move to the high or maybe even to this edge of the range. But let's see. Set an alert here. Scalping right now. I'm not holding it. Been into scalping recently, so just using price action to get my setups. All right, let's see. Okay, new H1 bar has closed and stuck in a range here. Not really in a good position. On the M3, I would expect price to come down, trigger this before continuing back up. But I don't exit these sort of positions. I don't mind taking the loss. Let's see if this does continue. It is still believe that it will go up, but we are getting towards the end of Asia session, so maybe this is not something that's going to continue. I would again expect that price would get up to that 30K. I don't want to have my sell limit right at that 30K. I'm just going to get in front of it a little bit. But again, if it triggers that H1 high and it doesn't give me that immediate push up, then I'm just going to end the trade right there. But let's see. All right, we're at the edge of the range. I'm going to cut the trade over here. I have no idea what this is going to do. Didn't like being stuck in a range here. And lots of times, all-time highs, it gets a little bit tricky. So cutting that trade, 1.3R, happy with that, and done. So again, I'm cutting this trade to technically we ended up in a range, so this is a range trade going from one side of the range to the other side. I'm a little bit cautious about being at all-time highs, especially at the 30. Lots of traders, I'm sure, will not be targeting exactly at that 30. So this could be a place where it can start reversing. So I'm not going to take that chance, especially when we're close to the new hour. Um, yeah, just rather be safe. Start of the week. Don't need to take any unnecessary risk. So just took a little bit there and moving on. So Asia session 1.8R and 1.3R, and that's about it. So now I'll be waiting for London session.